think it's the vocals that put a lot of people off.
Yeah.
It's always the vocals.
Yeah.
Anytime I try to play my music to anyone at work or family or whatever, they're like, "Oh, it's good until you start." And I'm like, "Brilliant, thanks."
Right, at my wedding, my mum came over to Calvin. She came over to the band and she said, "I love your music." She points at Calvin and said, "I don't like you."
Hi, welcome back to the Headbangers podcast, where your hosts Nathan and Brad. Here today, we're joined by Portrayal of Ruinn. How are you guys doing to start off with?
Not too bad.
Awesome. So yeah, I want to jump in straight away just and say, like, obviously you had that show at the Key Club, which completely blew everyone away. First gig back after so many fucking years now. What was it like for you guys, like just taking in the atmosphere and just, playing that first show?
The one in Leeds, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, mate. It was brilliant. It's the first time we've ever played Leeds, so we weren't expecting too much, being a band that nobody would have heard of. But we got on that stage, we looked down on the floor and we saw it was packed. And as soon as we started, that floor was moving. It was brilliant. It's like, we've definitely got a great impression of Leeds right now.
Oh, yeah. Please come back.
Definitely. Definitely.
And also, we like to start off with like an icebreaker as well. So what's like your funniest or worst gig or tour story?
Worst gig I can think of, you wouldn't have been there yet, Chris, was this gig. It was meant to be 7:30 till 11, usual standard, but due to the first band was a guy that was he was one running the gig, and he had so many technical issues. I think it took about an hour for him to actually fix his stuff. So then it delayed everybody else, and we ended up being on stage about 1:45. Everybody had gone home already, except for our girlfriends. But we carried on, and that was a bit depressing. But that was my main one.
I think with me, it was, we got put on a lineup in Manchester, and it was an Australian goth band. We had no right being there. We really didn't.
How did the crowd take to
you? I've never been stared at before by just goth, and they just stared at us, and just it was weird. There was no interaction whatsoever. Nobody moved, and it kind of, I don't know. We still went for it though. Like,
yeah, they weren't there for the breakdowns.
No.
That's the best way to do it though. Just persevere and just like play as if people are, just fucking rage into it.
Oh yeah, we did. It's the first time our promoter put us on as well, so we were like, we have to do this.
Got on stage like, was there a mix-up, guys? Like,
something's wrong here.
I forgot to wear my new rocks that night.
So, like, obviously, you guys are quite a local band. What would you say is like the one big thing that if you could change about the local scene, you would, to sort of improve it? Looking from a band's perspective.
At the moment, because we're a Manchester-based band, I'm actually quite enjoying how it is right now. I think the hardest thing at the moment is how many bands there are. There's so many bands, and it turns out there'll be like 3 gigs, and like we're doing one this Saturday, and I'm pretty sure there's 2 other gigs going on that Saturday as well, and it's all with biggish bands in it. So spoiled for choice. I think that's a good bad thing to have. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. No, absolutely. It's quite interesting to see like the polarizing difference between the Manchester and the Leeds scene, because I feel with the Leeds scene, there's very few metal gigs that actually happen, so everyone will kind of flock towards that as opposed to having loads of choice. It's kind of like when you've got a box of Celebrations and it's all bounties, except you get like one Maltese every so often. And that's what it's like in the Leeds scene. It's very few and far between, but the ones that are good are really good. So yeah, I'm kind of jealous that you guys have got the Manchester scene, because I bet it's just amazing just like having all these choices.
Yeah, I was talking to the guys from Goddard, and they were saying that like Key Club is like the main one to play. There's things have disappeared. We did have that moment in Manchester where a lot of venues did close down except for Academy.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden they all start cropping back up again, and now they're better than ever. We've got Rebellion and Bread Shed, and now we've got the Whittles in Oldham, and Bolton seems to be picking up a bit too, so it's starting to look up, and hopefully it's going to get even higher.
Oh yeah. To be fair though, I mean, although they did say Key Club, like me and Nathan can both agree that Boom's probably one of the best places to play in Leeds. Like it's a bit more out of the way though, so like a lot of people forget about it, but like most of the extreme metal gigs will happen at Boom, like Temple of Boom.
To be fair, Boom, in my opinion, is the best place.
Yeah.
It's a great fucking venue. I fucking love it, man.
Well, hopefully you'll play there one day.
Yeah, no, honestly, it's easily one of the in my opinion, the best venue in Leeds. Like proper DIY sort of venue. I mean, like I recorded my band's first track there, so like we've got like it's got a special place in my heart. I'm like, I fucking love this venue. So yeah, nice. If you ever get the chance to play Boom, say yeah instantly, because everyone there is fucking sound.
As soon as we get asked to play Leeds again, it's going to be a yeah, definitely.
Yeah. We'll be there, don't worry. So speaking of us, released an EP and it was fucking phenomenal. Really enjoyed it. Had absolute rage to that on the way to work, so proper enjoyed it. But to take us into like the concepts and like what lyrically inspired you, and what was going through your minds when you forming the whole thing.
Lyrically, as you can guess, I always go for the dark stuff.
Yeah.
Repetitive waking disorders. Basically, I just don't have to be feeling at a time, but we've all had our moments in life, so it's kind of just to portray it. But whenever I try to write my lyrics, I try to do a little bit of a story, and it might not be noticeable, but a lot of the time it's like do the story so it's really dark, depressing and stuff, but there is always a bit of a light at the end of it.
Yeah.
So chronic conclusions, ex-girlfriend story. Shit time turned into good time. Lifeless Life is all about believing that there's not much going on, but actually I can deal with that even better, because if I can accept that there's no meaning, then I can enjoy what I'm doing in life. Yeah. That's the main one for that. And then Repetitive Awakening. Actually, I don't think that one has a happy ending, so ignore that one. Musically wise, you need to talk to the guitarist and drummer about that.
With this EP, we've been we wrote Repetitive Awakening Disorder a while ago. We wrote it when we still had an old member in the band, and then Chris joined, and he completely changed the sound of it, made it as heavy as it is now, and then we took that aggression. We took Calvin's aggression from the shit he was going through, and we took just different aggressions from what we all feeling, and we wrote Lifeless Life. And Chronic Conclusions was the first song we wrote with Chris, and we spent a long time on that one because I'm used to doing 4/4 with my writing, not weird breakdowns. So me and Chris trying to do this in a practice room, it was phenomenally great. But we guitar wise, me and my brother, the other guitarist, he comes in with a riff, I'll change it slightly, then he'll change it again slightly. We've got a nice thing going. I don't think it'll work if I try writing with anyone else that way, but we gel together really well, and because he's my brother as well, if I don't like it, I can tell him I don't like it, and vice versa. And then Chris starts pottering away on his drums and he's always aggressive.
I feel like when you're with your brother, you've sort of got that brotherly connection, you know what I mean? So like you can like just tell him if it sounds shit, just you've known him all your life basically. So
yeah.
Well, they do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What got you all into heavier music then? What was like your starting point in heavy music?
My starting point was Eminem. I remember we listened to Spine Shank and thinking, what's this noisy shit? And like ignored it for like 6 months. I don't know what happened. Mine, like when I was younger, it wasn't all about being angry and stuff. Mine was just, I didn't like pop music. I didn't like music till I was like 16. And that's when I discovered Linkin Park and Papa Roach and all that.
Yeah.
Whereas I got into all my heavy music at like 9, 10 years old.
Starting young.
And then
all that sort of stuff.
when I was about 12, 13, I was into like dance music and shit like that, typical cavvy shit. And then I listened to one of my brother's CDs. It was an earache compilation CD. And the first track I listened to on it was Decapitated Spheres of Madness. And I've been hooked ever since on the death metal side of things. It was
easy startup.
Decapitated Spheres of Madness, and then it was Deicide, Scars of the Crucifix straight after it. And that was it. I was hooked then. Love it.
Well, if you ain't fucking around there, I mean, that's like not even going through Metallica or Linkin Park, straight fucking into it.
No. See, my dad always listened to the rock music. You got your Motorhead, Priest, and all that sort of stuff. But I never really gelled with that and then I started listening to the death metal side of things. And I love it.
Well, I think that's what it is. Like heavy metal, it doesn't even have to be about the anger or anything. It's just energetic. It's the most energetic genre I can think of.
Yeah, it's just a vibe, really. I mean, to be fair, when you said you got into dance music first, that sort of it does have some sort of similarities to metal in a way. Like it's quite energetic. You've got the drops, then you've got like quite similar to what a breakdown. Like when you wait for a breakdown in a song, it's kind of what I imagine when someone's in like a house club and they're waiting for the drop to hit. It's kind of the same deal, really, just a different sort of tune, really.
Yeah, I mean, like metal is like I think most people could get into it if they gave it a chance. Like I think a lot of people dismiss it. Like the minute you say so, like, oh yeah, I like metal, they're like, oh, that screamo stuff. You're like, oh, there's so much. Just listen to it.
I think it's the vocals that put a lot of people off.
Yeah.
It's always the vocals. Anytime I try to play my music to anyone at work or family or whatever, they're like, oh, it's good until you start. And I'm like, brilliant, thanks.
Right, my wedding, my mum came over to Calvin. She came over to the band and she said, I love your music. She points at Calvin and said, I don't like you.
I remember when I came home after I got the like premix for my band's first like track, and I went, oh mum, finally finished the track with the band. And she's like, oh really? I'm like, yeah. Start playing. She's like, oh, I like it. And then I start doing my vocals, and she's there like, yeah, no, you lost me. I don't understand what the fuck you're saying.
Yeah.
I was there. She like looked at me. She's like, what have you done? What have I done?
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Like when I show like my family, because my mum's into like rock music and whatnot, so like she's fine with like Motorhead and Judas Priest and stuff like that. But then she hates Slipknot. She's always hated Slipknot when I used to play it in the car. But then like recently, I was like, oh mum, do you want to hear Slaughter to Prevail? And she's like, okay. Then she ended up liking it. So like, I don't get where the parallels are.
I don't know. I think it's something that a lot of people just get used to. Again, like I said, Spine Shank, I was like, nah, this is too heavy. But then I started hanging around with guys. But I was stuck in a room with them and they played me Machine Head, Slipknot and all that. And I was like, it's fine, I'll just deal with it. And then I was like, oh, no, actually, this is fucking sick. Then I got my Spine Shank CD back out and this is sick.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I've always wanted to bring someone that's not into like someone from my friends group that's not into metal to a metal show, just see how they react. Like a little bit of a social experiment. And like be like, right guys, what do you think?
We played a Metal to Masters show last year. Big crowd and everything. And this girl that I work with, she's not into metal, but she's very supportive. And she's like, I'm going to come check you out. She wanted to see what a mosh pit was because she was saying she wanted to be in one. I was like, all right. So she came. She's the most friendliest person you ever met that doesn't stop smiling. She came in like fully colored with those flowy trousers with flowers on and things like that. She walked in and she went, all right. So we started. First off, she was like, okay, what's that? Then she saw we were playing with a band called Tortured Demon.
Yeah.
So when we started, there was a mosh pit of 14-year-olds and there's mosh pit of like adults. And she was just watching this and she was like, oh, I didn't expect it to be like this. She thought it was just like shoving each other on the shoulder. But as she was like trying to back out, the circle just got bigger. But it scared her. She said it was an experience. That was the answer that I got.
You see, that's
yeah,
that's literally what I think. Like, if people go to the show, I think they'll get it, because I actually recall the time when you guys were playing the Key Club with Godef, and there was this guy that came up to me and he was just like, I've never been to a metal show in my life, but I'm like really enjoying this. So I think if people watch the bands live and just take in the atmosphere, you'll be like, I get it now. This is what it's about.
It is definitely about the atmosphere. I went to a trancey gig a couple of years ago. It's a band called Carpenter Brut. and
Oh, they're
there
good
was
then.
no movement. I love a band, and they were really energetic, but there is no movement. Everybody's just stood there with a beer watching. And it's like, nah, that's not worth a down for.
No, that's not a jam.
Have you ever had like
where's the mosh pit? Where's the crowd surfing? Where's the angry people?
have you ever had like, you know, like if you've been at work and someone finds out you're in a band? Have you ever had that where they think like they don't think it's like a metal band straight away, and then like they start like asking, "Oh, next time there's like a work do, why don't you play?" And you're there like, "Trust me, you don't want that."
See how fast HR gets called down.
No, literally, I remember my boss finding out. He went, "Oh, he must have thought, oh, he must be in like a fucking indie band or some shit like that." He went, "Oh, how about you play the Christmas do?" And I was there like, "Well, do you want to listen to what I've done first before you know I do play the Christmas do?" And they're like, "Yeah." Anyway, just sat there going, "Yeah, maybe not. I think that might be a bit too much."
So you made the mistake of telling them what you play, because if you didn't, you would have just turned up.
Either way though, I got loads of streams on that. I was just sharing it about the office, going, "Listen to it, guys. I'll be playing the Christmas do this year."
It's marketing. So I want to ask you as well. Obviously, you guys know how to master the breakdowns. It's quite clear from the show. What would you say is like the most quintessential breakdown? Like, if saying what we're saying then, like if you were to show like a normal person or just like someone random, like this is the quintessential breakdown, what would it be?
I already know mine. The Coward Dead Weight. Do you know that breakdown? It's always there. It's always there in the back of my mind.
I think I've heard, because I've heard of Dead Weight, and I know vaguely of the song. I can't remember the breakdown just off by heart.
It's just he does the guitars are still like going quite melodic in the background, and he's just doing he's just talking, and his talking just gets harder and harder, then he just shouts out something and just fucking kicks in and it goes for it.
Oh, no.
I got goosebumps thinking about it already. That's the one for me.
I'd probably have to say Slaughter to Prevail's Demolition.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Or even Lorna Shaw's newest one.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's my favourite one at the moment. So the Hellfire.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's definitely the favourite one right now. And I want to see him do it live. I think that's the main thing for me now. It's like, right, you've done it. You've proved a point. Come on. We need to see this live now.
Well, if you type in Lorna Shaw EP release show, Revolver, there's footage of it.
Oh, well, there you go. Watching that later.
There's a Revolver magazine. They like filmed their full EP release show, and it fucked me. I was like watching it, going, Jesus Christ. There's like a little meme disgusting going around as well. Like it's like POV. You're at a Lorna Shaw show, and that bit kicks in, and it's just like literally like a pit of 4 people just kicking shit out of each other.
And to be fair, they are coming to Manchester, I think, with Carnifex. I don't know when it is, but I'm going to track down to that. Oh,
There's a couple of other bands on there that we're looking forward to. It's just a stacked lineup.
Yeah.
I think Chelsea Grin on there too.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, that's the one. Angel Maker as well. Angel Maker.
Yeah, Angel Maker is sick.
Yeah.
I love Angel Maker.
That's a stacked lineup.
What about you, Sean?
Quintessential breakdown for me would be Dying Fetus in the Trenches.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Oh, mate.
Yeah, when that kicked in, I saw him live and it was just phenomenal. I didn't listen to that song before I saw him live and just, oh man. Oh, it was great.
Was that the show with Carnifex when they played Manchester?
With Job for a Cowboy.
Oh, right. Vulgar, that. Didn't see that.
We went to see him in like 2018, and fuck me, Dying Fetus really do hit hard.
Oh, they do, yeah. I think I can't remember when this was. It was a while ago, anyway. But fucking hell, yeah, they do it hard. My dream band to play with. It's brilliant.
Oh yeah,
they're like an all-rounder.
You know what's mad though about Dying Fetus? They've like inspired so much like different genres without even knowing it. There's like a lot of like new bands right now where it's like beat down. Like I find sometimes where I'm like that is a Dying Fetus riff. That is a Dying Fetus riff just slowed down to half pace. I'm literally like that is a Dying Fetus riff.
Yeah, John Gallagher, he's an idol of mine. So yeah, I take a lot of inspiration from him.
Yeah,
definitely.
No, they have inspired so many people. It's weird because I feel like they get lumped in with being a bit of a meme band, but then if you shift that aside, like they have really inspired so many people. and you can tell when you listen to the music.
Their albums just progressively get better as well. Like some bands, they do a brilliant album, then they go shit, like Trivium, and then they release an absolute.
Whoa.
Whoa. We're gonna have a word with him later about that.
Please.
Yeah. Kind of.
I don't want to say it, but Deicide was one of those bands.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah,
like later on, fuck me.
Yeah.
Like they went downhill.
The Light album, cracking. After that,
Yeah, like literally anything after that point, it's kind of a slope. Yeah, like is there any point, lads? Come on, lads. Like each album's there's less good songs in the album, guys.
So we can't get Deicide on now because we've insulted them.
Brad, as if we were going to get Deicide on anyway.
Yeah. And to be fair, Glenn Benton's a bit of a dick anyway.
How did you all like meet anyway? Like, what sort of the story? How the band formed?
Well, I've known Chris for how many years have we known each other now? I was 13 and I'm 32 now.
Like
So-
19 years.
I can't do no maths. And obviously I've known Tom all my life. So Tom messaged me and said, I've got a few riffs for a song. Do you want to just jam along with it? You want to start a band? Yeah, go on then. No worries. And then he put out a post on, was it Join My Band, Calvin?
Yeah, join my band.
Yeah, and then Calvin piped up then, and me, Tom and Calvin met up. We jammed and Calvin drank for 4 hours, and it went from there really. And then Calvin got the bass player in because you knew him from your previous band.
Yeah.
And then we got our first drummer. We found him on Join My Band as well. And then once he left, like a week later, Chris was in the band.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah, we didn't wait long.
Don't fuck around.
Yeah.
To be fair, I mean, I feel like if you've known each other that long, like once you get past that point, I think you'll be good as a band because you've probably been through all the shit anyway, and now you're just like you're storms more like a brother than like friends now.
Yeah.
Me and Chris have jammed together for a good few years, like a few bands we've been in, and we know how to work with each other.
Yeah, most important thing.
Don't you think like Join My Band is musicians' Tinder? So you go through so many, and then you finally find like one member that you're like, yeah, that's fucking grand. Do you know what I mean? Like, over my years of being in bands, I'm there like, I think I must have met like hundreds of people from it, and like it's always like starts off really good, and then there's always one member that stays, and you just carry on and carry on.
So okay, now if you'll meet your match,
yeah, one day,
don't give up hope.
One day. Oh yeah, I met me match Jordan. He's been in every single band I've started. He's a sound lad.
What's like the biggest challenge as well that you guys have faced, and how did you overcome it?
Finding time to practice
Yeah.
as a band.
Yeah.
altogether.
Real life kicks in a bit too much sometimes. Because we usually aim to do 2 days a week, so Tuesdays and Saturdays.
Yeah.
But obviously sometimes hard work comes in, and then when you're doing the gigs, it's harder to write new stuff. So you kind of have to try balance writing and gigs. And unfortunately for these guys, as soon as I get gig offers, I'm like, guys, we need to do this, guys.
Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, time management is definitely something that's hard for everyone. Like, even for me and Nathan doing the podcast, like, because we both switched jobs and we're trying to like find time to plan videos. And now that like a lot of bands are going back on tour now and like doing gigs, so we're like struggling to find a few interviews. So we're trying to like plan other content and then planning when we're going to film it, and if we wanted to do it together instead of over Zoom. But I think it eventually falls into place. Like, you just find time that works for everyone, and it just sort of creates a solution.
Yeah, I mean, it's working for us. We have our slow moments, obviously. Like as soon as isolation finished, we did 4 gigs in 3 weeks. So I don't think we practiced or wrote anything. But then it's been summer, so we've had our like summer breaks and stuff. So hopefully now September's hit, be able to get back on it, write new music, get new merch, try to talk to new promoters, all that stuff.
Yeah.
New music.
Oh, yeah.
New music. We have got some new music. we need more, but we've got some new music.
Do you reckon we'll see that in like the next year or so then?
Was hoping. It's the whole it's a money thing as well, isn't it? If you need to do the gigs and sell the merch to make the money to be able to write those songs that you're writing, but we could end up with like 10 songs and no money, or too much money and no songs. And
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's like one thing a lot of people underestimate about bands. Like it's like why don't they release more? It's like, yeah, but you do know, like it's not just write it, there we go, release it. You got to go in the fucking studio, and like if you want it done right as well, you got to pay hand over fucking fist for it. Like because like you could go to some guy in his bedroom, but there's always like a 50-50. Like when you get that mix back, you're there like, did we just waste like 150 quid? You know what I mean? Like it's one of those things where it's like a lot of people I don't feel like a lot of people don't understand the level of actual like work and money that goes into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like our EP, so it's only 3 songs, and the music video, it must have come to around the ground. Round the ground for 15 minutes of music. But
crazy.
How we practiced those, but we had one of those songs for about a year. Then we wrote the next 2 songs, and so it was months and months, as you guys know, try and make sure that it's all down to T. And then I started rushing. I was like, right, I'm booking a guy in. If it's not perfect now, it has to be perfect by the time we go in and stuff, because we wanted to be up and running when the world reopened again.
Yeah.
Definitely. And like the funniest thing is as well, like sometimes like when someone goes, oh, and like how much does that'll set you back, and you tell them like, oh, only that much, and you're like, well, how much did you fucking pay? Like, they're like, are you taking piss, mate? That was expensive for us. Like, one thing as well I kind of want to ask it is, when you originally started, what would you say was like your biggest influences at the time?
So me personally, it's all deathcore stuff. Purely because like I love other genres, like I do love metalcore and all that, but I am not the vocalist for that. I can't sing for shit. So I was like, right, I'm gonna just concentrate on the breeze and shit. So mine's mainly deathcore things. Well, I say that when I first started as a vocalist, I was singing along to like Lamb of God, Devil Driver, Chimera, all that stuff. But yeah, definitely my vocal style now is Suicide Silence, Whitechapel, All Shop Heritage, usual like old school deathcore bands.
Yeah.
Listening to bands now like Slaughter to Prevail and Lorna Shore, going, shit, can't do that. Would love to do that. Maybe one day, but that's mine.
Well, I was just getting back into playing drums after about not playing for like 8 years when I first joined these guys. I'd pretty much not been listening to much music up until then, but I've been listening to stuff like Slaughter to Prevail, Lorna Shore's new stuff's pretty good. Whitechapel, definitely, because Whitechapel is literally what got me into all the deathcore anyway.
Yeah.
And Suicide Silence, obviously. One of the main albums I've been at the moment is Thingy Born of Osiris' new one, Angel Aurelian.
That's quite a good one.
I've not had a chance to listen to that. I've not had a chance.
Yeah, it's really good, really good. Then also bands like Thy Art Is Murder. There's too many to name, you know.
Yeah, no.
What about you, Sean?
I dreaded this question. When I first joined Portrayal, there were 2 extremes. It was death metal and all that sort of stuff, and power metal. I weren't into core back then. I never really listened to the old Whitechapel sort of stuff, but yeah, I was like power metal and death metal. That was it really. And then obviously Calvin and Tom, and they just got me into all this deathcore stuff. Chris, you got me into Winds of Plague a few years ago. But that was about it, really. That's as far as core as I went.
Yeah, I think to be fair, like I used to listen to mostly death metal, but like recently, I'd say for the last half a year, it's mostly been deathcore, because I think some of the most interesting music in the metal scene has come out of the deathcore. Like with like I said, Lorna Shore, Slaughter to Prevail, like Vulvodynia, like all these bands are just creating some really interesting sounds like that I'm not seeing much in death metal over the last year. Like there's not been many releases on that side that I thought, wow, that's really stuck out to me. So yeah, I think that's definitely been my jam at the moment.
Yeah,
well,
I've been going back into a death metal phase personally. I've just been
Gone full
like,
circle.
no, yeah, I went full circle because then like everyone's been like recommending all these like great bands and all that, like Gate Creeper and everything like that. So I've just gone into like this really deep pit of death metal and I just can't get out. I'm there like, because Spotify's just like recommending more like, yeah, since you listen to Gate Creeper, you might like this guy. I'm like, oh, I do like that guy.
So you get on
And
the
it's just
rabbit
like
hole.
like a deep, endless circle. I'm there like, I do like all these.
What I'm finding with deathcore though, the more I'm listening to it, like the new Born of Osiris stuff, because I'm a sucker for melodic riffs and all that sort of shit. Like Shadow of Intent, to me, they're the perfect
defo.
band right now. But deathcore, it adds all elements of that as well as the brutality of death metal, and so it's just perfect at the moment.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. It's like a nice little package of everything you could want.
Yeah.
For sure. So I want to throw like a little spanner in the works, and I want to say, if you were trapped on a desert island, what 2 items would you bring and why?
Oh, bollocks.
It's a good question.
One you did not prepare for.
I definitely take of it.
Snare drum and sticks.
To know how much you guys really hate me playing.
Are we on that island together?
Yeah, you can be. I'll be
Okay,
generous.
so headphones.
Earplugs. Yeah, I'll probably have to take my Switch.
I don't think it'd be a long trip.
I'd take a guitar and a boat.
Ah,
damn, he's found the loop.
you know what? We've asked so many bands that question, and none of them have said, but none of them went, you know what? But like, no one's actually ever thought of it.
You think Sean's going to be able to make it back home? He's not. He's going to be in the guitar by himself crying. That's all it is.
Yeah, I was talking about it to the Lorna Shaw guitarist, and he said that he'd bring like a notepad so he can write his lyrics down. So imagine like 200 years in the future, like, wow, look at these ancient cryptics that have been written.
Brad couldn't resist but to name drop there. No, speaking of Lorna Shaw guitar.
I think I said that I'd bring like a bullet with one gun in and a bottle of rum, but I think I'd have started from Pirates of the Caribbean.
No, Brad, what the fuck did you? A bullet with one gun in?
It's been a long day, man.
A fucking bullet with one gun in. I brought my fucking big ass bullet with my gun in it. Whoops. One thing I kind of want to ask as well, like if you could go back to like when you guys first formed, if there's like something that stands out that you would change, what would it be? It can be literally anything, like say like a mistake that you made early on where you're like, oh fuck, you know what, if we just like did that a little bit differently, you know, like we'd have fucking been way ahead. Or like even as simple as like, oh, that riff I wrote, I could do it a bit different now. What sort of like something that comes to mind?
You got anything? I don't know.
To be honest, I don't think I would change anything. I'm going to get deep here because everything it's forced me to progress. The songs we first wrote in the band, the shit, right? But that's progressed. That's pushed me to write more. I can't even speak now. It's pushed me to write better stuff. So yeah, I don't think I'd change anything, to be honest.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to look at it, because I mean, you know, you could want to change your first song or whatever that you wrote, but like if you don't have that, then you don't know how to improve, and like that's why bands usually get better after every release. So it's best not to change anything at all.
One thing I would change is we used to have a song called Golden Nectar. And during a breakdown, I decided to just down a pint on stage. I think I did that about 4 or 5 times, and every single time it was the worst mistake I could have done, because I kept having to turn around. I was like, no, I can handle it. Next time I'll be fine. No. So we stopped doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was trying to be a cool badass. Like, look at me, I can down a pint on stage. No, it's not cool. It's not fun.
Not worth it.
Doesn't benefit anybody.
I think what Sean said as well, like, was a really interesting point. Like, because I've always found that there's one really interesting quote that I think really translates well for bands and in music in general. Is the guy originally wrote it about poetry, but it translates pretty well. It was like a poem is never finished because you're basically reading an unfinished piece of work, which I thought was quite interesting. Because whenever bands release something, you always end up listening back and going, "Oh, I would have changed." I do it all the time. Like, I would have changed that bit. I would have changed that bit. But in reality, it's like, it is what it is, because that's where you've come from and this is where you progress.
Yeah. So obviously, like, more about you guys then. What are your hobbies and interests outside of music? Like, what do you guys get up to?
For me, it's mostly work. When I'm not working,
The hobby.
you ask what I get up to outside of music. All right. So it's mostly work because I work stupid hours all the time. I try my best to play guitar as much as possible, and outside of that, I play Warhammer a lot. So yeah, that's me. Yeah.
Awesome, man.
I'm a chef and I do like to do my cooking, but I spend most of my extra time with my family, to be fair, with my missus and my kids, and we're expecting another kid.
Oh, nice.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Shit, yeah, I forgot to mention family.
Yeah, sure.
Guitar first.
Standard Sean. Me, if I'm at home, I'm usually just like playing my PS4, Switch, or whatever. Sometimes I'll have a bit of a spree of like, right, merch time or talking to people. But if I'm not working, I work in a hospital, but it's only like weekdays. I try to go to gigs. Usually it's either gigs or going to pubs, restaurants, and it's basic bitch stuff, really. Like I said before, Manchester, we've always got gigs going, so every weekend there's always one to go to. So I just make sure that if I can, I'm going to turn up to one of them.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Who would you say is like the most organized out of a lot of you?
I can hear that.
Everyone's like, me.
Who's the most organized,
The
Calvin?
guys behind us are going for it again. So. We've got a black metal band, and one of their songs lasts about 15 minutes.
Sounds standard.
Yeah.
do they sound true cult?
I'll answer this one for him. I don't think any of us are truly organized.
Yeah.
Except Calvin when he gets on one. When Calvin's got his head in the game, he knows what he's talking about, he knows what he's doing, and he does get shit done.
Yeah, about 30% of the time, but
To be honest, it's kind of better to like have like a band that's like, you know, not half organized, but you know, you all kind of share the same amount of organization as opposed to one person being the full organizer and nobody else's shit, I think.
Yeah, we all share the load, definitely.
Yeah, there's been like many bands that I've kind of known where it's kind of been that case, and like you end up speaking to the person that is organised everything after like about 6 months. They're like, yeah, I fucking quit it because it's so much pressure. A lot of people don't understand it's so much fucking pressure.
Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, if say for example, if you're at uni and you're doing like a team project, like if you're putting at least a little bit of effort each, you'll still come out with a product as opposed to one person just doing the whole thing and it just comes out half-assed. So it's definitely a good thing to have.
Yeah.
oh yeah, definitely.
So we're sort of getting to the end point interview now. One way that we always like to leave it is, what advice would you give to your younger selves, and what advice would you give to a band just starting out?
The advice I give to my younger self would be to not stop playing. I kind of regret stopping playing for so long. And to bands forming, communicate with each other and enjoy it. And if you don't enjoy it, don't bother.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I would tell younger me to have started this a lot earlier. I started vocal stuff when I was 27. I look back now, I was like, I wasted my time just going to clubs every single weekend when I could have been actually doing something that I enjoy.
Yeah.
And young people now, I would say, if you're going to be in a band, make sure people know you. As in, if you're going to be in a band, it's not just about the music. You go out, you play those songs, but you make sure that people know who you are as well.
Absolutely.
Go to those gigs you're not playing. Talk to those people that are coming to your gigs, and that's going to get you further than you think.
Connecting.
100%. 100%.
Advice to my younger self would be practice my scales. An advice to younger bands starting is, like Chris said, communicate and don't go into a room with a one-track mind. I want to play this kind of music. We are playing this kind of music, because the way I see it in a band, there's no boss. You're all in it together.
Yep.
So listen to your bandmates and obviously work well together.
Absolutely. Solid advice.
Definitely.
I mean, so yeah, thank you so much, guys. And, you know, you really made my night when you guys, you know, tore up in that stage at Key Club, because after so long, it was just like, finally, we're back. We're back in business.
Yeah,
honestly.
Well, thank you for asking us. A bit shocked when I saw it. I was like, oh, crap, here we go.
No worries.
We didn't expect much from playing in Leeds, but I think we got a lot more than we expected.
Yeah, you had a good reaction,
definitely.
to be fair. And a lot of people were talking about it. So, no, you definitely have to come back. So either Boom or Key Club, whoever invites you, just get your asses down and we'll be there to rage.
I'd love to be back.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
I had a lot of fun chatting to you boys.
Talk to, and we'll be back.
No worries. I had a lot of fun chatting to you guys. It's been really interesting sitting down and talking to you, and we really appreciate your time and coming on and everything.
More than welcome.
So yeah, all
Thank
the
you very
best.
much.
We'll see you guys soon.